Welcome back to Metal and Miniatures Podcast with Josh and John, where we try to take a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none approach to podcast topics.
I'm Josh.
And I'm John. This week we decided that we were going to talk about the zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
We're going to get our nerd on.
Yep.
You can sound excited if you...
No, I like getting my nerd on with the zombie apocalypse. I think it's pretty relevant these days. Everybody's kind of getting on the zombie craze.
Yeah.
The zombie movement. So
Is that kind of like the brony movement?
That's the brony movement, but it's the zombie movement. And basically, we just kind of wanted to talk about just a few things about it, how it came about, and how we feel it can influence our everyday lives. Which it really doesn't at all, which is why it's going to be so fun to talk about.
Well, we did a Facebook podcast.
Yeah.
We did a Netflix podcast. And both those were kind of, pop culture, I guess, stuff that we all deal with on a daily basis. We wanted to talk about something that people will have at least heard about a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe they aren't as intensely interested in it as everyone who watches The Walking Dead every week.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really it's all about is The Walking Dead. That's why everybody's into it right now, I think.
Yeah, now.
But, just to kind of get it started, this is just kind of a really brief idea of how zombies got started. Nothing to do with the pop culture or whatever, because it actually was like a Haitian folklore that more than just what the movies do, but it's like a kind of magical powers and whatnot, voodoo, things that bring the dead back to life.
It was literally kind of like the idea of zombieism was legitimate in like this voodooist religion kind of thing. Like a religion. I guess that's how it would be. Like basically, with the Haitian thing is people would say like people would die, and if they were pretty much all good, they would go to heaven. But if they committed bad acts, they would serve as slaves, like zombie slaves or whatever. But that's kind of we've evolved from that, for as far as the pop culture kind of stuff, because from there it went into, I would say probably the starting point for pop culture would be Night of the Living Dead, George A. Romero. So that's where it kind of evolved to, and I would say that was kind of the first. I'm sure there's like other things like Frankenstein and stuff like that that's true.
helped push zombie culture, but I think that was one of the first ones was the Night of the Living Dead.
All right, and then we have Night of the Living Dead. Well, first, we have voodoo.
Yeah.
We have Night of the Living Dead, Frankenstein kind of things. What do you think are some other pop culture references of zombies? Kind of been big pushes.
Well, the one that I hear most is talked about, like when someone says, "Oh, well, if the zombie apocalypse really did happen, then it would be like 28 Days Later." So, which is a zombie film that it was some sort of, I think it's like virus in there or something like that, and apparently it's fairly believable if that's how people think it's really going to happen. So, that's one. Yeah. So 28 Days Later, I hear that all the time, and then of course as we said, The Walking Dead.
28 Days Later is the most believable.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna make a list of like zombie movies and we're gonna say what's the most believable, like, I mean, if we're gonna say it, well, that's probably gonna happen. I guess people say it's 28 Days Later.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen it for a really long time, but I mean, I guess people think that it's pretty viable that it could happen that way.
I wish we would have watched that.
Yeah, we probably should have talked about that one to say that we're going to talk about it. But we like surprises.
Yeah, well, so we already kind of mentioned it, but now zombies. I mean, there's a big zombies craze going on now, as opposed to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we can thank The Walking Dead for a large part of that.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree. I don't know if I'm happy about the zombie craze. I think it's this thing where you have this idea that, like, for me, I love zombie stuff, and it's like this own little group, this small group that loves zombies, and now it's like blown up. But I guess that's a good thing.
You're concerned about zombie fairweather fans.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Okay.
Yeah, but Walking Dead, I mean, and as for people who don't know, that started off as a graphic novel, which is great, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, so now it's crazy, even though like every character in that show sucks. but people like it.
Yeah, we've watched a couple episodes of Walking Dead together, and we continuously say that we are uninterested in every single character except for Daryl.
Which is funny because I always say except for that one guy who has the bow. I don't even remember his name, but he's my favorite.
I think his name is Daryl.
Is it?
I might have just pulled that out of my ass. I don't know.
And these people that are listening to it that are crazy Walking Dead fans are like, no, no.
At least I didn't call him Carl.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say people are like, don't talk bad about Carl, but I hate Carl. I hate Shane. I hate who's the main Rick. I hate Rick.
What about is it Simone?
Hate him. I don't know who you're going to say, but I probably hate her.
The girl with the samurai sword.
Yeah, I don't know her name is, but anyway. I don't like her. Anyways, that's off on a tangent.
Well, let's talk about. Let's ask each other some questions about how we would be prepared for the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
So, zombie apocalypse happens tomorrow. What is your weapon of choice?
Okay.
And then why?
And I'm glad you bring this up because I actually, in thinking about this, I thought about what weapons and so. First off, when I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I would use a rifle or machine gun. And I say rifle because, if you're far enough away...
Because you're such a good shot.
You said nothing about, about me necessarily being a good shot, but that's irrelevant, okay?
I'd get a sniper rifle, but I don't even shoot one.
I can figure it out in dire situations. Like I can't shoot any other time, but like zombie apocalypse, I bet it'd be the best. I would say from far away, it's because so I can pick them off. Because for some idea in my head, I want to pick them off. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But I think that'd be good. And then I think up close. Now think about this: if you're up close, surrounded by picture this in your head. You're surrounded by zombies. Okay,
yeah.
It's full circle.
Yep.
Like you want a machine gun to just circle around and blast them, because you're gonna hit parts of them. You may not hit them in the head, but you're gonna knock them back. Because I was thinking like machete, which I love. I mean, when you stick a person with a machete, you're not getting that thing out very easy, right?
A normal person. What if the zombie is like extra squishy?
But are we talking about extra squishy zombies?
I
would assume that's
okay.
Well, that's true. But I would say that because it was brought to my attention that guns run out of ammo, and so
this is a good thing for you to learn.
So I was like, okay, well, machete. But then I thought about the sticking issue. I mean, how many times have you stuck someone and you can't get it out? Zombies. How many times have you stuck zombies and you just can't get it out?
Oh, well, zombies never, but people.
Yeah.
I mean,
all the time.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. But do you have a idea of what you'd use?
So I think firearms are just got to be out the door. I think because the idea the firearm is the ammo is limited no matter what. And so if you don't know how long the zombie apocalypse is going to be, you're not going to want to be fishing for ammo all the time. You have more important things to worry about, running away or finding food and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just take like a machete or knives or I have a couple swords that I like to take out.
Of course you do. So you're kind of hoping that you're running away or running to whatever you need and kind of just hitting zombie every 10 feet. You're not thinking about when you're surrounded, right? You're just kind of...
Again, we're not talking about what kind of zombies we're dealing with. I'm just thinking as the weapon that has the best utility in an overall situation. I would want something close by me because I don't care what you think. The second you have that sniper rifle and you're surrounded by zombies, you are f***ed.
Yeah, well, that's why I say both, because machine gun. But I'm just saying, I don't disagree with you because, yes, you would run out of ammo. But, I'm just thinking about that surrounded situation. But I guess that depends on where and how quickly you can get out of town.
All right, let's get past the weapons.
Yeah, so that's that. The next question would be, where would you want to go, or where would you try to get to if the zombie outbreak happened?
Oh, yeah.
Here in this, wherever you are, in the city. I mean, since we live in the city.
We live in suburbia.
Yeah.
A little bit higher populated than suburbia, actually. I think that's a good question. I think that my best response would be in the mountains. We have...
Damn it, that's what I was going to say.
Because I think that, if you have some survival skills, like if you're able to hunt and trap and gather, stuff, then going out to the mountains, that's your best bet. If you have to stay in civilization, I mean, I think I'll take a page out of The Walking Dead. I think a prison's a pretty good lot, right? It's not meant to be entered or exited easily. Yeah. So if you're able to get in and figure it out, then seems like a decent choice.
And I think a lot of people are jaded by Walking Dead and going to the prison and stuff, which is fine,
Sure.
I think because pretty much and to everybody's listening, I didn't know what you were going to say on those, but my two exactly are the same. First one was wilderness.
Sure.
Because everybody's going to be trying to go somewhere, so exits are probably going to be blocked. Everybody's trying to frantically running. You're going to have the circle of zombie problem if you're in the city. But if you can get in the wilderness and you can survive, that's a good place. I'd probably die because I can't survive in the wilderness.
Yeah, I don't know how long I would last out there either.
That's what
I did the whole Boy Scout thing and stuff, but that doesn't mean I know.
I went to Boy Scouts twice, and I think I'd be screwed.
You flunked Boy Scouts.
I wouldn't say flunked as much as quit because they weren't doing fun activities all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think on that one.
Okay, how about vehicles? Obviously, you're not going to stay at your house.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I said, we both live in neighborhoods, so people are going to be infected, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
If they're not infected, you got crazy people that are going to try to steal your stuff, I guess. So, what vehicle are you going to want in order to get around?
First, I like the fact that we're okay with assuming we're going to be where we are and live where we do, but we get the choice of weapons and vehicles for some reason.
Hey, at least I own swords and machetes here.
Hey, I own a machete.
But do you own a sniper rifle or a machine gun?
No, I don't own any guns.
At least my idea is half realistic.
So, I think, I don't know, what did you just ask me? Vehicle.
That's going on.
I think vehicle, man. Well, if I'm thinking about trying to get, I just barely thought it. Okay. Let me just say what I'm thinking because
That's a great
idea. All these ideas are coming to my head. But if I'm gonna try to get out of town, I don't necessarily think. Armored vehicle would be really nice, but a small motorcycle or something like that would be great to get out and interweave all these people. However, you're probably trying to get family out too. Yeah. That's why I'd say a smaller, really small car would be good, even though it could get damaged easily. But you're trying to get out and interweave people to get out.
Like a smart car.
But yeah, smart car or
with really good tread on the tires, so you can off-road on it.
Yeah, or just like a doom buggy or a golf cart with good tread. Anyway,
golf cart. No, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
the Razor. They're not called Razors. What are they called? Like the Rhinos or something?
Yeah.
Or like an alternate.
Oh yeah.
So I would say either that or like an ATV.
Yeah.
Or something, and then I would just a pair of them so that the wife and I can both.
That's true.
Grab one.
That's actually good because I was just gonna say, but it does also depend on how fast these zombies we talk about run or whatever. But yeah, I think ATV type thing. If you had 4 of them for a family or whatever, that's a pretty good idea.
Right, and then because you can carry stuff on them also.
Yeah,
right?
So I think that's because a lot of people would say a big old armored Hummer and stuff, but that's if you're going into battle with the zombies or whatever.
Like World War Z.
World War Z or whatever.
Okay, so is there any other questions about preferences?
I don't. That's pretty much it because those are the main things, and I think the real thing we need to get into is how it starts and what kind of zombies we would be dealing with. Okay. So I don't really have any specific questions.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess if we think of something, we can spit them out. So let's talk about hypotheticals.
Okay.
So, actually, you know what? I have a question for you.
All right.
Here's the question. Zombie apocalypse happens as soon as you go home.
Yeah.
After tonight, after we finish the recording.
Okay.
Okay. It happens as soon as you get home. What's going to be the first thing you grab out of your house besides your family?
Okay. The first thing I grab besides my family.
What's your
honestly,
What's your best tool that you have in your house right now for the zombie apocalypse?
Man, that's tough. I would have to, because ideally I want to say like, oh, I'd grab like my tub of water, just in case we go to the wilderness. But the best thing would be, I gotta go with machete. Whatever, you gotta have protection. I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, I would. There's not enough food or anything else that you grab to really survive that long, so I'd have to grab like a weapon, machete, what I have in my house.
Okay.
Even though I want to save my guitar, but I would save my machete.
Like, I'd grab the guitar.
Yeah. You could use it as a weapon, I guess. What would you grab?
So we have emergency packs, like for disasters or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we would just grab those.
It's funny, I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I should get like an emergency pack. I didn't necessarily think for the zombie apocalypse, but I should get some of those.
I mean, they're pretty easy to make. So.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy one.
I didn't make them for the zombie apocalypse, mind you, but we have those here where we're able to take them
just in case. Yeah. Okay.
And they're basically like backpacking. We're able to throw them over our shoulders and just go.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so now let's talk about hypotheticals.
Okay. So I'm kind of so first I'm thinking along the lines of viruses, parasites, and nanotechnology. Those are the things that I think could cause the zombie apocalypse.
You don't think bacteria will do it?
No. Okay. That's not one of my three things. These three I said, that could cause it. So, just real quick, viruses, when I'm talking about, like, if you think about rabies, just as far as, let's say someone gets really crazy strain of rabies or whatever, like whatever that means. Okay. And so it's known to change human and animal behavior, right? Crazy strain of rabies. Okay. Like the craziest you've ever seen. Like zombie causing crazy.
Okay.
So like most cases cause a violent change, symptoms, anxiety, insomnia, confusion, agitation, paranoia, terror, hallucinations, and I think that all has to do with changing the frontal lobe of the human brain, okay. And making you cannibalistic.
So that's a virus.
Yeah, that's a virus. Parasites, like an organism that lives in and takes nourishment from an organism. So It could be like a parasite that gets in the body, but then it also have to be transmittable somehow.
Right, because you have to have the parasite
right, yeah. So however that happens, I didn't think that far. And then nanotechnology. So like something, we were talking about kind of
like Terminator.
I love
Terminators.
No.
Zombies instead.
No, not Terminators. Terminator 2. Not Terminator 1, Terminator 2.
Gotcha.
But that one, something was implanting like cell phones in your brain, and it takes over and makes like a robotic zombie. Again,
ridiculous.
Extremely ridiculous.
So stupid.
It's really stupid, but hey, robotic zombie sounds cool.
Okay.
And that's what I got.
I'm a little peeved that you don't think that it could be bacterial.
Well, that's just crazy.
Right, because the bacteria inserts itself into the body, and then it starts changing cell structures and stuff. So it's like a literal change in an individual when the bacteria, gets in. So personally, I think that the most realistic zombie apocalypse would be bacterial, because you have the bacteria kind of attacking the cells and changing the individual, and then attacking kind of like the brain structure also.
Okay. I mean, you have me convinced.
Well, I mean,
it's gonna happen. Bacteria. Oh my God! I'm scared now. That's how it's gonna happen. Okay.
Go home and get your machete.
I know. Right. I'm scared. Okay. All right. That's fair.
Okay. So to kind of follow along with my hypothetical, my thesis of zombieism.
Yeah.
Right. So in order for something to be an apocalypse, it has to be big. It has to be an epidemic, right? It can't just be like a small podunk town in rural southern United States. And so I think that in order for the epidemic, for the bacteria or parasite, nanotechnology, or whatever the hell you think it's going to come from, it has to be really transmittable, and it has to hit a large population.
Yeah.
And so I think that a bacteria that's airborne from pollution, which comes from highly populated areas, so if it's like air pollution or water pollution or whatever, that bacteria gets into the individual, changes the cell structure, attacks the brain stem, and then turns the people into, like, it kills the brain structure of a human, but it turns into a zombie
turns into like a cannibal or something like that. Cannibalistic ideas or something like that.
Like I guess I'd have to go way into like the physiology of bacteria.
And we just don't have the time.
Right. Well, of course I know all about that.
Yeah.
It's only 30 minutes that we have to talk
about.
about.
You have pages of notes of it, but we won't go into it.
So I think it'd have to be something that's going to attack a large population of people, that's really transmittable, and I mean, for it to be thematic, like an apocalypse, it'd have to happen worldwide too. It couldn't just be just the United States, or just Europe. And so, I mean, pollution. I mean, if I'd be able to make a connection between pollution and bacteria, then that's how I'd guess it would go. Yeah,
and that's how when I made this zombie apocalypse PowerPoint one time, that's actually exactly
in your free time.
In my free time. I just like making PowerPoints in my free time. It's like, as people don't know, you love lists. I love PowerPoints.
I do love making lists.
So I put that it has to be something that has to spread quickly, because we can't get a hold on it. It has to spread quickly enough to just take over the population or highly populated areas. Okay. One thing I did want to mention, kind of when you were talking about different realistic ways it could spread, I just found this thing that the United States government Center for Disease Control used the idea of zombie apocalypse to promote disaster preparedness.
There you go.
Yeah. So hey, I mean, if it's not necessarily realistic idea to think about it, I guess it gets you prepared for whatever.
Else,
yeah,
right.
For whatever.
There's one thing we forgot to mention.
What's that?
I think zombieism could be caused by bath salts.
Oh yeah,
right.
I think that sounds familiar from somewhere.
Yeah, back in 2012, there was, I guess, like a cannibal attack on a homeless guy in Miami, and I don't really know if the guy was actually tripping on bath salts or something.
I don't know either. Yeah.
But apparently, dude just started eating the guy's face.
Yeah.
After he was like screaming at the guy to give him back his Bible or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Face.
Right.
And then when the police showed up and they told him to stop, he growled at the police. And so they shot him once, and he didn't die. So they had to shoot him 4 more times for good measure before he died. So I know that a lot of people have used like this bath salts thing to also get into the idea of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like that guy was actually a zombie.
Zombie, yeah.
Right? Which maybe he was a zombie, or maybe he was tripping on bath salts.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one and the same.
Yeah. Well, I think we would need to define what exactly a zombie is. I mean, because okay, he's a cannibal, I guess. So is that a zombie? But when I heard about that story, the best, I guess I shouldn't say the best part, because it's kind of sad. But the crazy,
kind of like war is fun.
Yeah.
The best part about the cannibal story.
Yeah. That's not what I mean. But anyway, the best part about that is when I heard about, like, everybody would talk about it, and they'd be like, "Did you hear about that zombie?" Like they want the zombie craze is so prevalent. They want it to be like, yeah, that's a zombie, that for sure. Like, he ate his face,
right? And
they shot him multiple times, and he didn't die. I don't know what else a zombie is.
That equals zombie.
Yeah, right. So people got really excited about that. So, and I think that's the kind of the whole idea of why the zombie craze is so crazy right now. I don't know how to put that. It is because it's like the taboo of cannibalism. It's kind of a really crazy thought, and of course people coming back from the dead. But I think that's why it's such a craze right now.
So one thing we haven't discussed is zombie physiology or biology. One of the two.
Biophysiology.
Sure, that sounds great. So, how do you imagine zombies? Because, I mean, that the different kind of representations of zombie. It's a huge myriad display of kinds of zombies, right?
Yeah.
So when you think of zombie, in your ideal zombie apocalypse, what are the zombies? What are the zombies like?
Yeah. Okay. I see. So instead of how are they caused, whatever, how they start, how are they physically, biologically?
How do they move? What do they eat?
So.
What species are
they? They eat human flesh. But no, but for real, like, I mean, because yeah, you look at all the movies and stuff. There's like fast zombies, there's smart zombies, dumb zombies, slow zombies. I mean, in my idea, I would say a zombie, as far as like their speed and stuff like that. Well, starting with speed, I think they're just as fast as however fast a human is. Okay. You know, that person, because I don't. I mean, I don't think that would necessarily change.
You don't think that they're like rotting corpses?
Yeah. Well, I mean. No, I don't. I don't think if it would just be like rotting away. Maybe that could cause him to slow down a little bit, but I certainly don't think it would make him superhuman and super fast. Okay. I think that would mean that they'd be a little bit slower, maybe once they start deteriorating, if that's the case. And then I don't think they would be smart zombies. I think they would, if anything, be dumb zombies because you're talking about it taking over the frontal lobe of the brain.
Right. It's not a human anymore.
Yeah. I would think all they're looking for is like to eat humans or whatever, so I think they're very they're animals basically. They're all about survival, you know.
Okay.
So that's how I would see them. What do you think?
So I'm kind of
primitive. Sorry, primitive is what I was trying to remember. Yeah, primitive.
I was going to say instinctual.
Yeah, I was trying to think of which word, but anyways, yeah, go on.
So I'm kind of working along the same lines as you are. You know, the brain is kind of getting changed, and so obviously it's not a human anymore.
Yeah.
Right? It's a zombie, a different species. And I think that because of the brain deterioration, along with that, some maybe the motor skills are also going to be deteriorated. Again, I don't know. I'm not a brain scientist or anything like that. But I think that doesn't make them slow, or that doesn't make them rotting.
Right.
Like, it doesn't bring the dead back to life.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. And I don't even think that like it'd be transmitted through blood or anything. It would just be, you know, this person is changed into a different being until that might possibly have a shorter lifespan because it's a pure cannibal or a pure carnivore. And then I think that there's lots of movies where sometimes dogs turn into the zombies also.
Right.
And for me, I think it's more of like a human thing. I think it's more realistic if like the bacteria or the virus or the parasite only attacks humans.
Yeah.
Right?
I would agree with that.
So my ideal zombies aren't rotting zombies. They're not smart either. And they're not super fast zombies like in World War Z.
Yeah.
But they are a carnivorous species. And because it happens in populated areas, the things that they would eat would be people.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Interesting. I can't think of right now. I'm sure there's tons out there, but like every movie or interpretation of a zombie is either super fast or superhuman, or like Walking Dead, just slow and zombie-like. I can't think of another word, but just yeah, right, yeah, or like walking, like you say, like, you know, walk like a zombie, and you put your hands up and walk all slow. So I don't think any of those are like how it would be in real life.
Okay, well, I mean that's basically zombieism, zombie apocalypse, right? Is it going to happen, Josh? Give me a percentage of the likelihood of it happening.
I would say, of it actually happening, I'd give it a hard 1%.
That's pretty good. You know what? We'll make that an official Metal and Miniatures like prediction.
Okay.
There's a 1% chance.
A hard 1%.
That sometime in the lifetime of the human species that zombieism will crop up.
And that's just in case, in the off chance that it does, that we said that it might.
Right. Yeah. Then we'll say that we were right all along, and people should have been listening to us before.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
All right, so a hard 1%, that's what we're going with.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Okay. I think we've kind of exhausted
we covered
in-depth knowledge of zombies.
Yep. I mean, and everybody should be zombie geniuses now, so.
Well, at least know enough about zombies to go and get a natural disaster kit
to survive like at least a day.
At least a day.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay, well, if you survive a day in the zombie apocalypse, thank us. Send us an email. Thanks for all the support for everyone. Check us out. We're on iTunes. We also have video on YouTube if you're watching it.
Yep.
And then we have a Facebook page also, so come like the Facebook page and come tell us how we're ridiculous or whatever you want to do on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
We appreciate everyone, and I guess that's good night.